I got my limits to sell. I have my limits to buy. I'm not showing the exits. It's just limits only. So this is a passive way of trading, like if you had a breakout trade and you put a buy stop above and a sell stop below, and whichever way the wind blows, you're swept up in the trade. So there's three ways to get in the market, or there's three styles of entry, and that has to be the ultimate three fork in the road. So instead of have two forks, you got three forks. You can either wait for them to fill you on a limit for a retracement trade. Obviously, if you're going to sell high at some point, you need to buy back low, whether that's 8 pips or 80 pips. And it may only take 80 minutes to make 80 pips. Or it may take 8 seconds. Or it may take 8 days or 8 years. So it's just completely different. So I'm going to go load this template that shows the spread, because the spread is going to be your biggest obstacle. That's what it's costing you to put the trade on. So I have a 10 pip grid, and if I have a 2 pip spread, it's like 20% shipping and handling. If you're trying to, supposedly you trade, I know with all the charts and all the beautiful ikamushus out there, which you gotta say that definitely Gartley with an ikamushu would be the ultimate looking chart. But is there any money to be made on that chart? And if you know that you need to buy low and sell high, it's just how low and how high is the first two questions. If you buy 30 pips deep today, for some reason, just because it's 30 pips deep, without regard to a moving average and momentum, but momentum is the deal. Because how fast is this thing going down? Can they take it down 10 pips an hour? So here's almost a perfect example of 10 pips per hour. And when I say they, I just mean the people that take the toilet paper off the shelves. To me, it's so just like that kind of situation. Look at this price action here. Did it really matter at any point along the way here if you're just trying to make 20 pips? So let's just imagine a breakout system. So think like a breakout trader, I suppose. Think like a limit trader, and think like a momentum price over time trader. So market's up 3 hours, sell. It's up 30 pips in 3 hours, sell with a 30 pip stop. That would be rule one, base one. So you have this trade going. So the argument is that if you knew where the market was going, you'd be living in the Bahamas, because you're just going to put one trade on. It's going to be so fucking big. You may have $190,000 stop, but it's designed to make $40 million. And you do one trade and you're done trading the rest of your life. Okay, so how do you come up with the money to put that kind of wide stop in and say, yeah, I'm short in Bitcoin here. I think it's going to go to zero. Or I'm going long Bitcoin. Or I'm going to buy gold. I think it's going to 3,500, which is the next logical step. If it's at 1,750, yes, you could extend. You could put a Fibonacci extension. So people that are looking so one guy's extension is another guy's retracement. So it doesn't matter. The market's going up and down, up and down, up and down. You know, the punishment, I think that the trend traders must just lose their mind. You know, like they can't understand. Well, we're tracking a 5-day moving average of the missing toilet paper. And, you know, these kind of just ripe for the picking, fresh prices at the 10-yard line. So if you think of this aerial view of a football game, I don't know, whatever metaphor you need to make it okay to, Either put the ticket in the limit. So you're either going to put a limit in. The least risky is to put a limit in that lasts for 15 minutes that's 500 pips deep. There's no fucking way. I don't care if they killed everybody on the world. There's no way the market's gonna spike in and fill that, right? That scenario is not even. Maybe it is. So you would have to say, yeah, let's say it could happen because look at the yen. I don't know if you trade the yen, but spike 100 pips in 15 minutes, and they'll say, oh, they announced a rate change. Yeah, these people are just. There's no liquidity there. There's no. It's a. Okay, when they said the banks, it's central banks. Yeah, but the rate that, in other words, if nobody steps up to the plate and then somebody does, some big bank, yeah, they create an order imbalance. So you're just seeing the shock of that. And plus, you're seeing if you backed out and see the market start to creak into these pockets, these voids, and then it just caves in, just a cave in. I mean, as far as the volatility is in one direction very hard because it's filling a void. It's not that it's going up and down, up and down at that point. I mean, so there's two things it could do. It oscillate. That's why people use oscillators. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. It's great until it goes into a trend mode, right? So in a trend being 8 hours down, not one bearish candle or bullish candle. Pure bull candles, like literally 40 bear candles on the 4-hour chart. So when I started trading, I bought the dollar yen and I kept buying into it. And I thought, you gotta be kidding me. What the fuck? 40 4-hour down candles. I'm not kidding you. So at that point I said, these aren't stocks I'm buying. The chart looks like any other price chart. So I think forex is the most non-trending in a way, because if you look at most charts, I could zoom in, and it's only because it's a 24-hour market. I could zoom in the 4-hour chart and say, okay, explain this. Because if you go to old charts of just closing daily charts, stock market, so you can just, that's why people like the no-nonsense guy, because he's going to trade daily charts. Look at this setup on the daily. We waited 3 weeks for this. Guys, we're getting in. This is the signal. Yeah, but so how much money are you risking is the end question. If you're going to go buy lottery tickets, okay, how many lottery tickets? So I saw my buddy at the gas station, and he said he had this $10 lottery ticket thing, this big giant carnival. It was shiny, and he's getting it for his girlfriend. I'm like, I don't even want to imagine. She said, then he goes, I gotta go. She's waiting. I said, well, you're probably gonna win. You'll win $2 on that $10 ticket, because they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna keep you in the game. Now, sure, if you're gonna go in and scalp little bits out, yeah, but you could get clobbered, right? I mean, if you're gonna buy the so if you're spending $10 on a lottery ticket, that lets you put 100 pips stop on a 1K. It's pretty good, I mean, you could pretty much gently, lightly, widely trade anything, because you could buy 50 pips deep and put a ticket that lasts for like 8 hours. Okay, so you're asking the market, there's 3 8-hour sessions, or 12-hour. So right now there's only 12 hours, just about 12 hours left in the trading day. And are you going to buy every pipette? So if you put a 10K in a 1 pip zone without repeating the price, and your broker's letting you do that, somebody said, hey, which broker has the most amount of tickets? Yeah, it depends. I mean, if you have access to the whole world, if you go to like places like, I know people are going to say they're bucket shops, but if I know what I'm doing, I don't have to buy all of the stuff on the planet. I could just go down to the store and get my stuff at the store, come home, make my own cookies, and sell them on the street, right? or sell them or trade them for something, And so if you're gonna treat it like a business, so they say, "Oh, trading's a business." I said, "Well, guy, and I see the chart and I see a pattern." Somebody was talking about candlesticks, but having a trade plan for the candlestick is the trick. So if there's a small body, it's telling you. I know I'm jumping topics, but let's just I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna. I'm not charging for the incoherent tangential thinking. But the thing is, it does break down to risk by dollar. Because if you tell me you're going to spend $10 on a lottery ticket, I gotta say, dude, you could literally for $50 open a trading account and put in like one trade with 100 pips stop and just say, I don't know. I mean, Joe, I'm down $3. Should I get out? I mean, I'm down like 2 lottery tickets, 2 scratch and wins. But there's something about the chart that makes it seem like, well, wait a second. I built this algorithm. Yeah, you custom fit. You have like, if you're skipping a stone on water, this is like me trying to skip a stone on no water. I mean, just 1 pound, I guess, off the pavement, right? So, off of windows before they smash them. Oh, yeah, so it's funny how everybody is so rich. How do you know you're wealthy when you tell people, yeah, we'll go break some shit. You know what? We'll be back in a couple. Let us know when you're done having your tantrum. It's the same, what they call infantilization. So that's what you're seeing here on this chart. Is you'd have to ask yourself, which banks are making money, which institutions, which level 2, level 3, level 5 traders. I think all their algos are crashing into each other. The momentum trade is obvious. If the market's going up, for how many days is it going to go up? So if it just keeps churning in some fucking void that if you look back on the chart, you're like, fuck, there's no prices there at all. Like, nobody knows what it's worth, so it just keeps panicking. It just keeps clearing out more toilet paper. Now they move on to like notebook paper. You go in the store one day, it's like some fucking Twilight Zone. There's just paper. What are the pulp factories? And then the president gets on and says, we got to help the pulp factories. The funniest stuff I hear is stuff like, and this is, I think, totally true, and I think this is the biggest. All financial news is fake news because it's all trying to explain a price that already happened. Nobody comes out and says, the market's going to spike and reverse 183 pips on the yen tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It may just be like a dud. If you think the news release, it's such a joke. Well, you see what the news did to the market? Are you fucking nuts? You really think? That's like looking at the clouds and going, I see a fucking pattern. Okay, dude, where's your stop? How big are you in on that stupid fucking idea? So I know that, but see, that's the whole appeal of the trading is look at the pattern. Look at her. I don't even care if she's out of her mind. She looks beautiful. Well, of course. So I feel the same way about, some of these outlandish trades that you can't believe, like, look at this thing. It's so stupid. And that's the other disappointing thing is that trading is so, from the standpoint of mechanical trading, where there's a doji, let's get in a hedge. There's a screaming up bar, let's go, let's sell. It's screaming up, let's sell a little bit. Are you going to buy into that? I mean, this is the thing. Are you really? So there's only 2 ways to look at it. It just went up 80 pips in the last hour. Are you getting in to go long? Sure, why not? Are you selling? Sure, why not? Because the next hour, if it went up 80 pips, going to pull back 10. If it went up 80, will it go up 30 and then 20? What do you do then? So I'm gonna go hunt for some trades here. I got my trusty pip grid. I think 10 pips is a good baseline. So if they're charging you 3 pips fixed here, then if you go to, if you scrunch this down and you start, so the spread here, I got the ask is white and the bid is yellow. That white line has to get below these entry tickets to get filled. So it looks like I could have got filled down here, but not really, because we have to dip at least 20% into the 10 pip grid. So this is the cost of trading right here. Now we all wish we could buy down here, and now this is why you'd want to pay commissions and see a tighter spread, because now you want to buy this. You want to make the chart. You're paying to make the chart make sense, as far as like, look, I just bought them up on that trade. Okay, yeah, maybe. I'm only in 4 tickets here. So, and I'm ready to scalp out, for God's sakes, because this is a double bottom and it's fucking like almost 5 o'clock in the morning. Now this could be all the dippity doos. Now you can make all kinds of money here, but you're not going to really overcome that spread until you get the 10% cost of trading, which is going to be a 20 pip take profit with a 20 pip stop, which is going to take longer to make that money. Now, if you go to someplace that has a floating spread, then you can scalp, because then I could put in, like, I'd already be out of that trade, right? Because this is the spread here is 3. If you give me a, which in the pound you might get a half a pip spread. Imagine 1 pip spread on the pound with a little bit of commissions, so a half a pip in commissions. So you're paying about 2 pips. You're saving 1 pip. I get it. People are like, well, we're going to get the best deal. How long you want to wait to get paid? So if I wait all day for them to go in here, and then I would just let them, if you're going to build a position in a certain direction by the market, keep poking down in and keep hitting my buy limits, right? If I never cashed out of anything and I just walked away, imagine I had buy limits below the low of the day. So we know, or below the low of the spike, right? That's a terrible color to see all that, but it wouldn't have mattered, right? We were buying here regardless. Now this is a 20 pip window because this is the pound, so. And momentum traders that go, contrarian momentum traders, people that are going to go against the last price pulse. So if it's down, they're buying. If it's up, they're selling. They just buy, sell, buy, sell. So you can see how they would make money with no stop. Don't forget, a very wide stop. If you're going to trade at the market like that, you better put a wide stop in. Like if it just went up 20 pips in 2 hours, you sell. You need a 20 pip stop. Because the next candle, and maybe it was during this session, that's enough to take you out with too tight a stop. But the thing is once you see that this ledge here, this wedge here, and this tall stack of nothingness above here is really what that price is feeding on. Now we never make it to the top of that window, but we dip into it. Just to flash into this is triggering somebody's trailing sell stop on the 4 hour, right? Somebody's got a trailing sell stop. Right here was the pocket that was filled here. Now on the 4 hour chart, yeah, this is a whole different trade plan. Here, you're buying super deep all day. And here you're going to build a long position. So, okay, how wide is your stop? The ultimate question in life. If you're going to trade, so the 4 hour chart, if you're going to do these kind of trades where you look at this wick and you go, yeah, I can see the low, and you tell people, you know what, buy everything below here until you can't, just, this is a 100 pip risk of buy window. Now when you go like this, you say, well, that's not that bad. I mean, you just hardly even getting, you know, I just about die when I see people's charts like this. I'm like, you got to be kidding. How these is 100 pips on these big black lines? Are you kidding me? On the 4 hour chart. So if I put a buy limit down here, down on the bottom here, if I come in like this, I was just going to put, I think I could safely say for the rest of my life, buying anything down here is going to be good to go. How do I know? Because I can see this low. I mean, you just can't believe how stupid it is. Anything above here, you're going to sell. And that's the wedge part. So that's to anything up here. I don't care who you are, where you are. This is why people that trade Gartleys, if you put enough Gartleys up here, yes, I can imagine buying here. So I can make this, oh, this is the end of the channel, and this is what I'm going to get. Okay, great. But in the meantime, and sure, you could probably back test it and say, if I would have done this, this, and this, yeah, no shit. But would you have done it? Would you have been awake to do it? Would you have been around to do it? Would you be in another trade at that point and not even take that trade? So a lot of people make these algorithms, but the robot's the only thing that can step out and keep doing the same dumb shit trade. But this is all hand done trading. So you're putting the order in saying, yeah, if we dip in this window, I'll scalp that out. If I'm trying to make, this is 200 pips here. That's the 4-hour chart. Look at these moves. You got to be kidding me if you think that. And I know there is a point on this chart somewhere, where everything just came together, your algo and the market and this custom thing you built. And it's like, yeah, I bought here. Well, who didn't buy here? I can tell you the guys that buy after a screaming sell-off bought there. The guys that buy this low in a 10-pip window with a guy, just insane. Your ratio there is like 10 to 1. And you can't even, this is a 10-pip. That is immense. Look at this thing come smashing back. So here is the argument for, well, see, I have a trend line here, and that broke out and pulled back to here. Yeah, but anybody that's in a trend trade selling in a slight drift up, the trend traders bought here, right? So, or the trend algo buys the shallow pullback with the tight stop, with the great ratios. And that's why the trend traders say, see, that is the trend. That really is an Elliott wave. From there to there is an Elliott wave. It really is. And that's why Elliott wave, God, that's a great, man, that makes so much money. So here's wave 0. Right? This is 0. And you can see Elliott wave on closing prices way better. Then you can see it. And this is also the, people would say, well, this is you can call out that price pulse. In that one instance, it's perfect. That's 1, 2 pullback. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and 3 has to be the biggest wave. It's a perfect Elliott wave right there. On the 4-hour chart, in the British pound, coming into Sunday, Elliott wave. But is this the, if that's 5, then this needs to be a new 0 here, and this needs to be a new 1, 2, but then this can't be a 3. If every zigzag needs to be something, well, people would say, well, don't be stupid. This is a ABC correction. Wonderful. Next question. When you see this small pullback, if you put a 20 pip stop in, you didn't get to ride this down. At the market, selling every 4 hours at the market, so I think blindly, of course, but when this starts to cave into this hole, if you bought here and then you bought here, yeah, buying at the market, you need to stop like this. So if it's down this much, you need to stop like that. When it's up a little bit, you can run a tighter stop. When it's down a little bit, tighter stop. But here you only lost a little bit of money. But you had to know something was up. If you were in this area here, you're like, oh. No, it doesn't look good. Like, in other words, everybody's all giddy into the trap of the breakout traders. The losing traders are going to be the people that put a buy stop here.
Joe, it's going higher. We're buying. It's going to just keep going now. I like this trade. It's been going up. I got a signal back here like a couple hours.
I mean, you go on the fucking. So you're on the. We can all see it, dude. Everybody's like, yeah, I know. Next question: did you sell everything, including your house here, because you knew that this was going to happen? You're going to be up 300 pips with a 50 pip stop to make 300 pips. Now that's a good trade. But you waited also. You waited until. This is pretty scatterbrained, right? So this is why you'd say, well, who the fuck's making this market go like crazy like this? Guys buying below that, accumulating and dumping, and then reaccumulating here. It's just the goal. It's just having these pending grids out there and just hand play stuff and just thought out, like, what is the risk here? That makes more money. It's precise custom trading of price action. If you just let some robot, even a robot that says, well, I guess this is why you need 20 robots. I said, if you're really going to do a robot, you need a robot that's going to do, that all it does is buy when it's down anywhere from 60 to 80 pips. It gets in a 1K or whatever it's doing. And maybe does this, it could go across different currency pairs, but as soon as you go to the bad spread currency pair that has a 5 spread, now you got to trade with 30 pip stops. Now you can risk more money per ticket unless you're going to go to a nano account. Okay, it's 10 minutes before 5 a.m. Another big deal here. It's all about timing. It's all about what time is it. So I think the best is limit trading because it's arranging 80% of the time. Yes, at the market on a big plunge or a big rally, it's screaming up, and I go, oh, geez, let's sell, at least for the scalp. It's like, well, the volatility's kicked up. I'm probably not going to buy. Because if I really I'm going to consider that a swing trade with a 50 pip stop. So those kind of trades, right? You don't have to trade much. Market's down. Oh, God. Let's get in. Step back. Wait another 4 hours. Still down. But now, at that point, you're asking, well, why is it down? Because it fell in a hole. Or it was swept up into some helium balloon, taken off. You can't keep chasing. People are chasing it. So here I'm just gonna today. All I think is left in the market is a possible crush into this hole. I think that's the hope. The hope is that they're gonna stab it. So my favorite trade is the spike because it's very fast, and it's you can have the market spike down 100 pips, retrace 50, and you're either going to say you're willing to go underwater and be in a drawdown, or are you going to put in tight stops? At that point, the spread's kind of fucking you, because now, if you really were going to say dollar-wise, you've got $1 lottery tickets, so 10 $1 lottery tickets, whatever. How you want to spread the risk? And just because you have a broker that can take, so the question after how many tickets can you stack up in what broker is the next question. How fast is their server? Because if you got to get out of that trade. So you'd have to say, well, what's the, if a trend is a smooth move, is this supposed to be people just kind of like slowly unloading something? And since the orders can't, but the rush to market, so when the market crashed in 2008, I'd watch these videos where these people are saying bullshit like, look at this, it's so unfair. look at this. The price was here on the tick chart and the price here, they don't match. I'm like, you're kidding, right? Like, dude, you really think there's not a toilet paper order imbalance going on there? Like, I go places still, they're like, yeah, we just gave up fucking stocking it. And then this one store I went to, the paper towel is in a new aisle. When I saw them put gasoline jugs in this one area that used to have my transmission stuff, I said, well, we got a problem here. So, huge order imbalance, and it's kind of like it reminds me of the Corona and the riot too. The riots too, because there's price riots. What's going on here? These are price riots. If you think about it from a buy and sell standpoint, you're like, what in the fuck just happened? Like, why all of the drama in price, up and down, and holy fuck? Let's put a moving average on this thing. Let's just be trend traders. We just trade like 3 trades a week. How you guys doing it? Like, how do you do that trade? I guess, right? But if the market's open and we know London's going to open, there's going to be some shenanigans, price manipulation, volatility, and then we just scalp out. Okay, we could still ride that other creeper gear trade on some other account. So open an account that only lets you put in like 20 tickets or 50 tickets. So the broker's managing your money there. Just because you can put in 1,000,000 tickets, I'd say people, you know, like I said, it's more than just how many tickets, because now this is when you say, well, just trade 10K. I can do the math better, and I don't care. I don't care what it costs. But I guess if you're always trying to reduce cost of things. So if you're going to get a better entry because you put in a grid of orders in a 10 pip window, as opposed to getting in a 10K at the market, boom, put a stop in, whatever, let it go. Even 2Ks. So if you went from 1K to 2K, right there, you just doubled your risk. It's hard to believe, but so when you go to the 3K, you're not really tripling your risk in the sense that, okay, well, now you sacrifice that price. Well, you're notching up, but the most dramatic thing is the 1 to 2. So that is the big shift. And it starts to become kind of what's the difference between 83K and 82K? You're already in 83K on one stupid ass entry price that's probably not. Like, if the market's going up and down, where do I get in? Buy low, sell high. Well, how low? At any moment in time, if you just turn on the charts, you turn on your computer, anywhere on here, you go to the 1 minute chart and go anywhere on here, just randomly pull the trigger with a target of 8 pips, with an 8 pip stop. How much time needs to go by before you either get stopped out or make money? And could you be up 3 pips and say, I don't like this trade. I just pulled the trigger. And now that I'm in it, I got to manage that trade. Or they say manage it, but it's kind of managing you. I mean, the price is moving. You can't really tell it, listen, stop going against me here. Can't you see what's going on? Don't you know this is a doji? So you're rooting for a team. This is the thing that crosses over to not accepting that you have to. If you say you buy every hour, it's going down, and you say I'm a swing trader, I'm using a 70 pip stop, and every hour it's down I buy, and I accumulate long positions, looking just to buy shit. I have a threshold of like 10 pips. You give me a 10 pip spread and I could trade it with a 50 pip stop. I can make money, but I got to still have the market's got to come up 10 pips. But if a market has a wide spread like that, it's typically out of control already, right? It's an out of control 160 pip, so it depends which currency's out of control. So if you're looking for the ATRs to kick up, if you're looking for they're going to kick up. Or you could just place yourself at the window, the threshold of the edge of the market, waiting to get filled on limits. So, the stop entry, okay, can you trade stop entry? So this market limit stop, three techniques, three styles of entry. It does matter psychologically because if the first stop you take is okay, it's going to be 5 o'clock now. So there'll be reversals coming in now or continuations every hour that ticks by, and then 5 minutes after 5, everybody, markets are opening. Everybody's like, you know what? You only got 12 hours left to make. So if the market moves up 120 pips, it's moving. Any market from this point to the end could move 100 pips. So it's moving at a pretty good clip there. Is that a straight line? Probably not. So is there a zigzag? You could pick up 9 pips. Okay, so if you're going to pick up 9 pips, you better trade like a standard lot or half a standard lot. Make $45. So we just updated the chart, and we also just updated the 4-hour chart. So everything just came together there. Now 5 minutes after this, it's going to be when everything just... But if you sit back with your pendings and there's no fill, guess what? You didn't lose any money. So these... we're trying to make... I know I probably got a little too angry at the no-nonsense people, but you'd have to say... I don't know. I mean, building an algorithm, I get the idea. It's like building a car that can drive on all terrain, but you can't have an all terrain. And I mean, you're not going to be able to go, 80 miles an hour on the turn in this giant camper, And the scalper considers himself to be, the sniper. Trading's really big and just able to, I guess, the sports car, Whereas the trend trader is a big camper with a bunch of, garbage on it that might be worth something one day, It's just flipping all this crap, spare parts, shit you bought, and but you're not, and maybe you're using some of this stuff. That's my approach to investing. I would never invest in gold or anything. Like, gold to me is so stupid to invest in. Why are you investing in gold? Invest in toilet paper. What are you, fucking nuts? Nothing precious about gold, not toilet paper. I guess people are buying gold. Maybe they're using the toilet paper to high shine the gold. If you get it wet, you get the toilet paper wet, and then you buff it. You buff those gold bars, but... so it's very, very raucous, and so it's treacherous, the price action. It's not that I don't see the need for people to want to soften the blow of price action with a 100-period moving average. Now, that has to be the quintessential goober move, I guess, and the smoothing of data. And it's not it's on closing prices. Now, if it was on a volatility kind of situation where you took the high, the low, this is the Hakanashi, high, low, smooth the whole fucking thing out. What do you got? Like, tame this bitch down. This is the Hakanashi approach. But there's still money to be made from what... So the noise, I don't like to take the noise out. This chart's full of noise. If I put Hakanashis on the 4-hour chart, you believe what's obvious. When it's red, you sell. When it's white, you buy. I think I had red and white on mine. So, we're just waiting for retracements. I mean, I want the market to plunge. In a perfect world, it plunges, retraces, it's cashed out of half the position. Maybe the rest it starts to engulf. And there's an auction every day on the 1-hour chart. There's where the market makes a new low, makes a new high, it's done. And then once we start to crush, into, so if you can look at this chart and say, well, look at this void here. Yeah, if you're on the 1 hour chart and the half hour chart, you're like, well, you need to buy every pullback on that half hour chart. It just doesn't matter. And why put stochastics on it and smooth it out again? So I'd see people do this and I'd say, this is like you, I don't know. It's just not. How are you making money doing that? And you are, so how are you making money doing that? How are those people making money doing dumb entries? Because they have a good exit. They're either going, you know what, this trade ain't working. It's not going the way I thought. They get out, small loss. Capital preservation. So, well then, if you're too conservative, if you don't riot the prices, then you're just not going to make any money from extreme behavior moves. So you kind of need extreme prices, and then let's consider, okay, 5 minutes, boom. This is 5 minutes after now. Here comes all the 5 minute bots and 5 minute people and what have you. Boom, down. Now this is 4 hours down. You're trapped under the floor right now. You selling? It could still keep tanking, but it's okay. Because I'm buying more. If it goes down now, I'm buying more on the British pound. I haven't loaded all the algorithms in this thing, but I took this broker. I think he's same as Falcon FX. Hugo's Way is the same broker. I think it's like a white label. So running a big demo here. So, but here, look at, this is the 4 hour slam down kind of London. But is it a breakout or a fake out? Like, did you, but this is the buy window, right? You have to buy here from the limit order standpoint, like a set it, forget it entry. You need to go long. But if you're going to buy this whole, you need to put all your limits in and walk away. Now, you also could pull the trigger at the end of that, so those traders are getting in. And people are already scalping out. So you can see the price backing off a little bit here. Because that 5 minute guy, let's see the 5 minute world. What he's thinking on the 5 minute here. Oh, shit, wait. Gotta get back to my, wait for this to load. Okay. You haven't set the algorithm up on that yet. I mean the template algorithm. That's a fancy word you're using. What algo who? So here, I like the 5 minute chart. Did I take the 5 minute off? Okay, 5 minute chart. So here, kind of compress the data a little bit. So there's a lot more trading here, right? If you're going to buy every 5 minutes, it's down, buy low, and then sell. You'd be cashing out now. So in the 15, so how thin do you want to slice this thing? I think half hour chart, like so, how much trading? So you see the double top here. So this sell window looks great for everybody on all these time frames. So it starts to become invisible on the 4 hour chart to some degree. And here, you know, you can make a mint on one candle. So granted, this is the 3 dojis in a row, right? And it's going to break out, but it's really kind of just coming up into this sell window. So you could have sold here. This is the Asian kind of trap, you know. It's like, oh, it's going to be higher support, but we all knew, anybody that could see this wick and this wick said, whoa, if they come down there, that'd be a great place to buy, and now you're scalping out and dumping to here. That has to be the trade. For that trade. For that, I'm just going to Sell this little mini vac here, like I'm going to buy here, and I'm going to dump it on the 4 hour back and forth thing. So it's just very, just you're going to sell above here, right? This doesn't really exist anymore for the market's view. The market just sees this, and then it sees, wow, look at this. So definitely selling here, and then even if it goes lower, I'll buy more because I got enough money to buy more, and I'm going to get in around half, not perfectly. So this is all amount of degree. I'm going to run this guy for the template. So here I'm going to trade my system. Now here I would have gone long, so I didn't get a chance to drop this ticket, but you can see this is the yen. I hope you can see my trade here. If you can, or the limit, entry, technique, strategy. So people say strategy, what's your strategy? What is your, it's like more of a technique, I think. Or I guess the strategy is buy low. It just sounds so retarded. People are just like, well, no, you can't just say that. Well, see, now the scalpers on the 1 hour, right? They bought that little wick. Boom. Here comes the, structurally come back into the floor. Is it going to keep tanking? Well, this is the, we're starting to cave into this hole, right? We're caving into this hole. At the end at 5 o'clock, I should have bought here, right? For the market order trade. Was I awake? Okay, that's the other thing. Are you gonna be around for the trade? Are you gonna be up at 5 in the morning? So 5 in the morning, there's a trade on every currency. I'm sure there's a trade here, but you just bought because it's down. But now you got to buy. You dropped 40 pips in 4 hours. You got to buy with a stop like here. So you're long here with a stop. You got a target here. This is your first trade at the market. But wouldn't you rather have buy limits all the way in here with scalps built in? You got 8 pips. You got 10. You got 15. You got 30 maybe. It's going to come back to here. But everybody's getting out here. It's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Once you go below here, yeah, it's a crush, but then you sell. Every 4 hours it's up. Sell. This is the only chance for people to even... This is where people that are counter trend trading are taking their profits. They have to. Anybody that's going to buy the plunge below here, they're dumping into it. It's just that it's in a trend. I'm going to say it's in a continuous move. This just the word trend just pisses me off.
Well, you know what they're doing now? The latest trend.
I go, dude, that's already over. Obviously. Everybody's going to dump here when it goes up 10 pips. Not everybody, but that is the logical counter trend. Now it could keep tanking. So I'd say, I see the trade you're in, but since I bought this limit, I'm going to get out with you. I agree. That's what's going to make the market. It's like you make new lows, like comes below here. Everybody that bought below here, when it comes back this much to the floor of that, yeah, people are getting out. Plus new guys are getting in. There are all the algos that queued up this one day, and this is being fueled by the so-called self-fulfilling prophecies. Like all these robots are like, yeah, no shit. Like, look, perfect ATRs triggered all my cells, sell every rally. You don't need an oscillator for that. You can't see these little baby peak mountains. That's all well and good, son, but what happens when you sell this little peak mountain here thinking it's going to keep going down? Because you said it was going down. You trend traders said it's going down. I think I've been... Yeah, because the guys that are like, oh, yeah, below here, dude, we're loading the wagon. Accumulating all this bullshit. Yeah, I know you trend traders, so, right? Then they comes all the way back. Don't forget they martingale. Then they're in fat. This is the big banks are doing. They're going against them trend traders. Then it comes back to here and everybody dumps. No shit. And then it just goes. And how about the new guy? Just started his trading career. Buy limits. He only gets filled on this. He's got buy limits all the way down. That's not bad trading. Now here, this could be a dead cat bounce. And at 4 hours, there's going to be somebody selling that saying, well, we're not done filling this void. And then the limit guy's going to say, I'm gobbling this up on limits. I don't even have to be here for that trade. I got scalps built in. It has to be. Those are the money-making trades. The guy that's selling this window without being there. He put sell limits in. He could see the void. He put buy limits below here. He cashed out by here. You can even see his cash out, right? This is supposed to be where the bottom becomes a top and it keeps tanking. Don't forget, it's still in a downtrend. Any trend trader will tell you that. This is a downtrend. Okay, well, what's going on now? How about you just want to make 10 pips and go back to sleep? You really want to go through all this shit? Well, that's why the no nonsense. That's why God invented no nonsense. Because you go to a daily chart. So you're making it too difficult. Just go to a daily chart. It'll clean things right up. Wow, look at this Corona shit. This is the toilet paper event. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look, it's just the market's like not even moving now. I built my algorithm based on this. See, my algo made so much money on this top bottom theory here. See that daily top bottom? We loaded up with a 100 pip stop. We made 800 pips. It was crazy. Did you get out up here? Yeah, fuck yeah. That's the last trade we ever did. Because we tried to put that trade on again. And boy, it just didn't work out. This bottom's supposed to become a top. Nope. This top is supposed to become a bottom. Nope, they just whipped us out. Never even made it to here. This is a trend we going on. Then it just went against us. We got on this trend. Remember that trend, Joe? Everybody's all bullish. Yeah, and then we got stopped out. You did that trailing stop. So it's like, where you got these stops in here? It just kills me when people have these. They talk about the market as if there's no money involved.
Well, what you waiting for? Some confirmation? Do you want it to come down here like this? And
so my view is, yeah, I do want it to come down because I got buy limits down here. Like, I want them to take it down here and just call me when you're done smashing it. And I got already built into the script is we're going to get out to this floor. And what's the best part is I can hand place it. I can tell you that for the rest of my life, this will be a good trade. Buy anything below here, sell anything above here. So you can't just put in here. You could have so many millions of tickets in here because if you're not going to just buy every 100 pips that drops, you could. So the 100 pip grid trader, okay, he says, well, here's the 100-yard line. I put a sell limit at the 100, a sell limit at the 100. I got filled on this 100 with a 100 pip stop, and I made 400 pips because it came this grid trading. Put a sell limit here, sell limit here. Got a buy limit down here. Got filled. Well, almost got filled. Got a buy limit here. So you got a buy limit there. You got a sell limit here. You got a sell limit there. Just because it's at the 100. Okay, that's starters, right? Is it going to come up there? Maybe. I'd rather say, I'm buying every 10 pips here for the next, how much time? Dollar yen. To me, this was a no-brainer trade. On the dailies, sure, it may take me, but if I put some big fat ticket here with a scalp to here, and I got a stop here, or I have a wide stop, bad ratios. The forbidden bad ratio, so this is the hot babe date. It's going to cost you, but it's worth it. you're going to buy here with a stop here, and you're going to scalp out here. Is that the probability of making a profit is beyond the risk? I mean, the probability of being stopped out. Because if you put too tight a stop in, you're not going to be able to ride this big giant move. If you sell here, 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 here with a 200 pip stop, and you accumulate a short position, and what you'd have to be aware of is this top. If you can't see this top, you should not be trading on the idea of selling into that and beyond that. And if you can't see this on the daily, so that is a supply zone. Anybody that does jigsaw, let me talk about jigsaw. Jigsaw would pick this. I would jigsaw. You have to do your own jigsaw. But yeah, I'm buying down here on the yen. I don't even trade the yen. I'm going to start. Like, so the dollar is going to take a little bit of a. We're going to probably just. The volatility today is probably not going to be that crazy. On the daily chart, so if you're a no-nonsense guy, and you are going to trade the daily chart for real, if you're really going to trade the daily chart with this technique, you would have buy limits here all the rest of your life, and you would scalp to that thing. So when you fix the scale, you're going to build your trade plan. My system is built by the pip. It has nothing to do with the. I mean, it's not like a. It's like a dollar risk thing. So you're just saying, I'm gonna risk this and that. In limit form, wait for a scenario to happen. So you're setting up the barriers. Market's got to come into a certain price threshold, like threshold trading, I suppose you call it. So if I fix the scale and I say, I'm just going to get in because I want to buy 50 pips deep in the next couple days. Based on what's, because I can't trade the left side chart. Yeah, those are some crazy moves back there, but I don't think we're seeing anybody raid stuff right now. And so here's the daily view of dollar yen. So I'm going to put in a daily trade, and this is going to be risking 20 pips to make 30 pips. I don't think we're going to make it, but let's see if we get filled down here today in a 10 pip window. So my take profit is up here in the shit. Let me get this arranged here. So I had the stops on so you can see my exits. So here's my exit, which is not it should be a little bit below where we're at. So we kind of put in the wrong, and this is why it's easier to make 10 pips than it is to make 40 pips or any more than that. So here's a break even. Risk 20 to make 20, and this is only going to be a 3K. Right around $8 to make $4. So this is not the best. I know it says break even pip wise, but it's not. This is low risk, right? Now this is going to be cover a 10 pip window for 8 hours. So because it's 8 hours, I'm going to put it right close to the market. So I have that scalp. That's going to be momentum. I'm giving that thing 8 hours to drop. I'm risking $6. Now, if I keep doing that at different price levels, if I interweave this, so I'm saying I'm going to buy, and now I'm just going to lay them in. I'm going to just go, you know what? Maybe some of these don't fill. So I like that trade. And just go from currency to currency. I'm going to put in my template. And same trade here. Let's buy this thing. It looks like they're going to plunge it. Looks like the yen's had it. Right? I'll give you that. here's a break even. Not really, but let's buy all day long. I'm sorry, 8 hours. So there's not much left in the market. I'm going to place it right on this wick because I can see this. I know that exists. So I have to come back in 8 hours. If that doesn't fill, now this is probably not going to make $1 million, and the exit's right where we're at. So you're asking for it to engulf after this. That's a scenario you're kind of saying. You're saying this has to come down here and then has to come back to where we're at. That's not good. So let's put in a daily so we don't have to babysit it. And let's go for a 15 pip window. And this is going to be a bad ratio. We're going to risk $32 to make 18. Let's get in down here all day long. And this is compressed like martingale, logarithmic. So I wish there was a better way to do that. So you have to think deep. Now here you want to go to the other time frames because now you want to make sense of where's the market going? Why is it? It's falling in this big hole. And so that was the daily chart, right? We just took out the lows, so people are buying right now, I'm sure. The daily chart, you just took out the lows from here, so it's the same pattern as you see in the 4. So here's another bad ratio trade. I'm going to start that one. Bad ratio is going to start right there. So imagine I don't have any tickets, so delete those arrows and then just come back and say, okay, this is kind of what you're doing is this. So it's already getting in thicker down there and all day long. So now to spread your risk. Yeah, so we're risking like $100 here. Now I can put some fat tickets at the bottom. I can put 10Ks in down here. So I did some bad ratio 10Ks here. 15 pip stop on a 10K. Okay, so watch this. I got this thing to work. You know what? I could understand. You know what? It was a demo server thing, and it wouldn't. So here, my exit is going to be doable. It's going to be right into here because this is the scalp. We're going to buy here. We're going to dump here. That's a rack at 10K. So this style of trading is very. It's a lifestyle forex, because you really are saying when you do this repeated drop here and go super deep, because you'd be surprised. We could come down here today all day long or all week long. So this to me would last all week or all day, that trade plan. Go to the next currency, put in the template. And you're looking to make pips. So the spread's fairly tight here. Let's buy here all day. And let's buy here all day long. So we're just going to buy dumb shit pullbacks. This is the first stupid trade I can think of. And you should be able to see the trade in an instance, in a second. Right? You're going to sell above here. And you're going to buy below here. We missed our trade there. So actually, we would have bought here. We'd be cashing out right now. So you see, this is either going to engulf. You know, there's two scenarios. We're either going to engulf, or the sellers are coming in here and we're done. So. All right, so I just got filled on this. Let me get these charts lined up. I'm cashing out of this euro. So I put my sell limits up there. And let me cash out of that. I got buy limits below here now to go the other way. So based on that, now it all happened in a half hour. So that 5 o'clock in the morning, look at people, a shaved candle up there. Okay, so I'm cashing out of that, and I'm going to come over here. And let's see, I'm still in the pound, but I want to buy more pounds. So I just freed up some margin. And I'm going to go in for a 2 hour risk. So look at this as a time risk thing. And here I got these buy limits because there's all these. So that was the sell window. We knew that was where the sellers were. So that was the high probability scalp to there. And then the possible engulf to here. But if we come back to fair value, I'm buying. So if we come down here, I'm buying. And trading two currencies like that, whichever one, and I'm looking for that thing to fill. And I still got sell limits up here, which if we go up there, I would still leave those behind. So I don't want to sell too heavy into this. If I do get in here, it needs to have bear ratios. you gotta take those 10 pips for something. So this account, I got up to almost $40,000 from 5,000 because when the sell-off came yesterday, the euro and the pound, I bought in at the market here, 21K. And I kind of lost about $3,000 actually because I wanted to go flat, and I bought in heavy without stops on this plunge. The first plunge I bought, and that was when I gotta take the loss on that. I hate to lose, but so on balance, I was at 43,000, and then we're sitting at the end of the day when there's no volatility left, and it's like nothing can really happen. You're not going to get any good drama. You're just really not. And if you don't mind all of this trading, all these tickets, which is it's still work, The robot, I guess it's possible at some point for a robot to be able to do this stuff. But if you don't like the process of trading, then maybe that's a problem. I think it could be overwhelming. Like if you're going to break out the Gartleys and all that stuff, that's a good way to lose your mind, I suppose. Because if you are thinking about, well, let's get the best algorithm and we'll just trade really heavy on each ticket. Or we'll just trade heavy on one ticket. Gosh, I don't know, man. That seems risky. Because you kind of bet on this being like so good, this system is so good it can't lose. Now this is probably going to pull back deeper, but like I said, my first exit's here. I'm already in the pound now. So I'm trading one when the one currency's done, and they're not moving together. So if you're looking to the dollar index to give you a clue of what the next price pulse is, I don't know. They're not on the same page structurally. We're in different phases. Yeah, they're both pulling back, but this normally doesn't move 20 pips, and this British pound's barely pulling back on that. So the bears are still holding this thing down, and this is the 1 hour chart. So turn on a dime. This is also 4 o'clock in the morning. You'd be a seller into those rooftops here. So we just cleared this out. High probability scalp. I'm not saying that it's not going to go up now. So but it's such a fast move down too. So fast move. That's a lot of pips in here. Yeah. We haven't even done anything last 4 hours. But to me, the ripe area is going to be buying down here. And now there's more chance for us to get like a little dead cat bounce here and just continually making money from anybody that's selling up there. And plus 4 hours supply and demand, I suppose you call it. It's, if you are, or this is, the 1 hour. So the 1 hour and the 4 hour look exactly the same as far as because we just closed out the 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're half hour in. Now we go to the half hour chart. Well, half hour momentum traders just bought that. Look at that. That is 18 pips in 1/2 hour clean. Boom. Boom. 5 a.m. Yeah. Trade's over. Now we could go up. We could go higher. Sure, I'm in. Let's go. Let's sell up here. So that's it. And then you're gonna occasionally. So if you keep on putting tickets in, if you really loaded the wagon down here, and you made your 10 pips, and then it did engulf, right? Engulfed, and then it became a sell. So buy, sell, and here it looks like the pound could take off. I could buy at the market here. Right? If I don't think I'm big enough, I'd buy at the market there because the market order guys say it's down. It's still down. It's as if and it's dojied out. In the breakout traders, they got their buy stop sitting here. If you have a buy stop sitting here, then you shouldn't be trading buy stop entry. You should have a buy stop maybe on the 5-minute chart up here. I just don't get it. Like, obviously, after a half hour market order, guys have already bought this. If this is the breakout, pull back to the breakout point. Yeah, it kind of overshot. Then, depending how much money you have, are you going to put in? How big are these tickets? So we got less than 12 hours left in the market. So I like this. I'm selling up here. I'm selling up there. The first price beyond that high. And here I kind of got stuff sitting back at a retest area. But the soft entry on scattered limits like this to me is the safest way to trade, because you're spreading the risk. You're going to give yourself a cushion. Having a hard entry, these are like 12 hours I put down in here, so I put these last 12 hours. If we went down there, the news would have to come out and do something right. It looks like we're just going to try to go after this, and this is the other. Before stocks open, we could be going below here, and this British pound could definitely come down here. But if it does, it's going to be this kind of trade where you're just like, wow. And then look at all this trading in between this. That's the 1 hour chart. So a lot of great trading if you don't mind. And now you're making it because you're so close to the spread where you're trying to make 12, 19, 18, 17 pips, that you are paying the spread. But you're making so much money. You're doing so many trades that your volume's up. And you don't mind. You made 10 grand. You don't mind costing $200 plus the withdrawal fees and all this stuff. It's not that you don't mind, but it's like, okay, that's just, like you can't drive your car. You can buy the nicest car in the world. You still got to put gas in it. But I know people get hung up on that because, the idea is you're trying to make money, so you're trying to do the best price and who has the best this, the best that. You still can't tune a guitar because you have to put the crooked frets on there to get it the intonation. And then it's going to sound weird. Like if you perfectly tune a piano, it may sound weird. And some people recorded, the most famous songs are recorded out of, they're not concert pitched. They're just, it's not even the right pitch, but it doesn't matter. And people are singing to that. So everything locked at self-driving car kind of thing. I get self-driving trading. That's the expert advisor. So that scalp's over. Now it's going to be... we could go hunt down some more trades. So I'm going to put in some limits here and see what we picked up. on some of this stuff here. This is going to be the set it and forget it for the dailies across 8 currency pairs. All right, I got 2 more templates to load here, so I'm just doing this kind of scanner view. I got a scanner here for you. Okay, so I got a Bitcoin template actually. So I put Bitcoin here, so the markets aren't closed really. I mean, Bitcoin's still available, so I got a Bitcoin template where I made the stops appropriate. And I have a script for this Bitcoin, believe it or not, so I just wrote one 2-hour script, pretty low risk, I think. Okay, it's down here. And this only lasts for 2 hours, but I'm going to sell above here. So here's the sell window. The spread's kind of brutal. And this break even, and then I'm going to put a buy limit here. So I'm going to equal opportunity Bitcoin. So what I'll do is I'll put this Bitcoin code in the, well, I was going to do a video that's just called the bit script and just post it as a comment. I'm not sure what the dollar risk is here, but you're kind of like trading 10Ks here, the way that Bitcoin, I don't know if the leverage is not quite as high. But there'd be the trade there. And you can see that at certain times, that's a great trade. Like if I kept doing this trade over and over, now they'd have to last longer than 2 hours. That's the 4-hour chart. So you need to buy the Bitcoin, which just looks like any other market. Right, so here's Bitcoin when it does the, so here you would, nice thing about this, I guess, it's a continuous chart. It's funny because it's not, the funny thing about Bitcoin is it's like an organic market that is always open, that was created by people. The government did not create Bitcoin. Well, I guess if they can, the internet, I don't know. So it's the ultimate global, and so that people say globalist. This is a global thing. But you see the spreads working against you. You can't see the spreads so bad here. And I put in these like 100 pip handles. I guess 10 pip handles for this thing. It's a beast. Costs you some money, but like it's very secure because there's no gap opens. Since the market doesn't close, you don't. So I bought into the pound last Friday, and then it retraced this week, and then it smashed down again. So holding it over the weekend, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking on some level. It depends how big the account is, having more than one account is definitely the answer. But that's a lot to manage. I mean, if you could barely manage one account, because you're just, I'm looking at this account, one's enough for me. I'll just trade twice as big on this account. But the Bitcoin thing, that's my first Bitcoin limit drop, but I can write a rack of those. I can put dailies in and stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with trading Bitcoin. It's like a little bit brutal cost-wise, but I think you make up for it in the fact of safety that it's open 24 hours, 24/7. Definitely the ultimate, right? Because even after you kill your wife, at least you got something to keep you company. Get your Bitcoin charts running. You find that all the time. It's not really any good. Unfortunately, the Android, the MetaTrader running on this Windows here is the only way I can really do these drops, because I have to take a mouse and drop them on the chart, I just look at my Android to monitor see if I'm getting filled on something. It's like, wow, look at this this trade, and in my mind's eye I can see all the charts, kind of look at those charts, and memorize them, I suppose. Just at a glance. So at a glance, the first thought you have is the best thought as far as looking at the chart for a trade. I think I have 2 euros on here, unfortunately, but so if I look at this euro trade, I'll say, okay, well, what's the trade here? Euro dollar. Let's put in a 10K scalp. Now here's the worst ratio here. Risking, I got 10 pips stop to make 5. I could probably make my 5 pips. Let's just put a bunch of these in. Now I'm going to make better ratios. The deeper I go, the better the ratio, because it means I have to take profits above where I'm at. So the all day long ticket, I'm going to drop it right on that. So instead of putting a trend line there, I'm just going to put the tickets there. Yeah, this broker. So another problem with this broker is we have to wait for enough trades to come in for that to even be triggered. So this is all day long risk here. So the guy that was talking about the daily drops, this is how I would use them on the 10K. So you're buying 10 pip windows. I mean, this is like 80K. You're looking for the market to tank. Those tickets last all day long, and you are on the daily. You're on the 1 hour chart, but the tickets last all day. What do you think the probability is? We can drop down here. Now this is a nice tight spread, but they're charging commissions, so this is psychologically a little easier to take. Plus this ECN, the idea is the spread's floating, so if they tighten up the spread right there, I'll get in. So let's get in very aggressively there all day long. I'm buying that all day long. And here I'm going to put the bad ratio in right there. So I definitely want to buy this on any kind of pullback. Let's buy below here all day long. We'll zoom out and say, yeah, that's a good trade. Who wouldn't want to buy down there? We're buying lower than we are now. We're not in the market yet. So I'm up 67 cents and I'm in 6K. Half of that number. It's 501 leverage. I might have got filled on this. This might be the trade I'm up on. The British pound. So it looks like the British pound could fall in a hole right now. Like we could just go to hell. So if we see this big void at the left, we have to go to the higher time frames to see, well, where are we at in the landscape? So on the dailies, we can see still have a hole to fill here, and the people that trade breakouts of dojis are short right now. So we could plunge. We could get a great fill down here. Let's fix the scale so we can see deeper down into the market. And okay, here's what's really going to matter today in the pound is, are we going to take out yesterday's low and just go smashing down into here? I sure hope so. So I'm going to buy. Here's going to be the dead cat bounce scalps. Bad ratios first. So they're risking 30 bucks. And I'm literally going to buy. Got to be careful on this drop here, because if you get above this, it's going to be sell limits. So these. If I put this up here, it's a sell limit. And if I put it down here, it just naturally becomes a flips to a buy limit. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's probably something you should mention. But since they're limits, it kind of just, they flip. Okay, so I'm going to buy this plunge if we get it. Now I'm going to put in a better ratio or wider pip ratio. I'm going to risk buy here with a target to the floor, and that's going to be the 8 out. That's another daily risk, and here I'll put another one in, which means we're going to exit above where we're at. So I'm kind of hoping this smashes down in a way. Yeah, I'm looking to get filled on this sell-off. So creaking into this void. Right, so we are still tanking, and the trend traders would agree. So it's just kind of fun, you know. I guess going against the trend, doing this entry here, I like this style of trading. Look at how they're just filling me. Just they have to do nothing here. And then looking for the retrace. So all this coming into 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Now I put my finger on the trigger here. I go to the half-hour chart, and I'm going to see what the scalpers are doing. So they're going to get out here. So I could get out here, or I have that built in. If we make it below this wick, it's going to be crazy, and then we're going to buy more down there. So it's all preset. No market orders. And we expect it to go down, ripping down quickly now. Toilet paper raid. So this can drop 30 pips in like a blink of an eye. So especially on Friday. So here we could just go blasting down. I'm just zooming out to see the... So another 10 pips down, we could easily go. And everybody that sold this trap here, so we keep seeing these kind of situations here, right? Gets up there, rips all the way down. It's quite a rip. This is certainly a different view than the view that, like this view here is, you zoom in and out, it just changes everything, you know. The more you, this is max zoom out, I think. So you zoom in. Okay, when you zoom in. So we just filled a ton below this wick. Right, because that's all that really matters is that wick. Okay, so a 20 pip window of fill there. Now we need to have those bad ratios scalp out now. Almost 6 in the morning. So the 1 hour. So that's on the 1 hour chart, and that is the breakout to the downside, I guess you could call it. Okay, the scalpers are getting out here to that wick floor. They're out. So they took something off the table there. Now new sellers could come in right now, and we could go take this out. So you need to, oh, we got all this dry powder down here. We're not in that big. We're up $9. Okay, it's still a healthy position. So we go to the 5-minute chart. Let's see what's going on in the 5-minute chart, and so 10 pip wick on that 5-minute chart. They're already out of the trade. Now the guys are going to hold till here. That's the floor. We're trapped below that right now. We're living down there for the moment. Top of the hour is coming, so if we go to the 1 hour chart, we're stuck. We would have closed into the bottom. If we close here, right, and the market order guys are going to buy in 5 minutes if we're down. Or those algos, right? Your market bot is going to be buying right now. Okay, cashing out as we come back up. That 5-minute chart's going to update. Can we slam to this floor? Are we going to go after this now? Which notoriously we're going to may even scream back up there. It is Friday. People do want a deep discount on this pound. If they're going to buy it, this is the buy window. And now the euro's pulling back. So I could have held that euro. It's engulfing. So it's like waiting for that shoe to drop. This dollar index. I know people looked at the dollar index for some reference. But these moves happen so fast. So you have to have enough money so I can buy more down here if this keeps tanking. So the scalpers, if you can see, they got out. That 5-minute window, they're out. Okay, so now we're just waiting. So if you didn't have your 10 pip targets in there, you're kind of a swing trader, or you are looking to hold this, and it's going to go higher in the long run. So if you can balance the short run from the long run, you got scalps, you got swing trades, right? Okay, so let's come back here right at the top of the hour. All right, so almost 6 o'clock. 5 seconds here. We're going to update the 5-minute chart and see where we're at. I'm going to go to the 1-hour chart. They just updated the 1-hour chart, and this is the breakout to the downside. We just took out the low of the previous day. You may want to trade that breakout to the downside, but you may be right in the long run. But I think people are probably going to try to. People bought that. There's a new fresh low. There'll be people selling here. They'll make their 20 pips. They'll make their 20 pips, and it's not so bad. Or we have confirmation on the 5-minute chart that people are saying, well, we broke out here, and as soon as we get to the previous bottom, we'll sell, and then it's going to go down like this. Or this was the bottom. They went here and they sold here. So now we could go down lower. And this is a real breakout. And these people are up in the trade, and they're just adding to the sell. And to really, that's 10 pips in 5 minutes. It's a trade, I suppose. It's not a 5-day swing trade, but you probably would have to trade bigger on that trade than you would normally trade to make the same amount of money per week, to keep on making that kind of money. From that one little setup, 50-minute chart, so a 50-minute chart, this is the previous low, and we could keep tanking, but that's fine. I can afford it. So I think I scalped out of one little tiny position. I can see I gave up a little bit. I'm at like a 30K almost. I'm up $3. I kind of have to wait for this to play out. Now this could crush. I could get filled here. If this sold off, I'd make money. I mean, I started to get filled on things I couldn't think would make money because I'm trying to buy low. So yeah, euro about to get filled here, it looks like. So these, if it doesn't, it's okay. But this has gone through its cycle. We made this new low. We took out Asia low, and then we engulfed to here. We took out this pocket, came back to here. So is the final destination up here? Are we just going to keep coming down here? And then I'll buy that, and I'd buy this, and on and on. I don't have any sell limits up here. I do on the other account. I suppose I could put some up here on this. All right, we're stabilized on the 1 hour. So 6 o'clock in the morning, we're right in the middle of this, kind of near the bottom. We're back into this safe zone. Stocked up on toilet paper there. Now the pound is the other position. Okay, 5 minutes. We're 30 seconds from updating the 5-minute chart. We just made a new low there. We just took out that last 5 minute. Okay, so 11 hours left in trading. Got 11 hours to either go up or down from here. And that's the trade. That's the constant battle. Look at this little trap up here. Nice 10 pip winner. Comes back off. This will be the target for the big. So we come to here. If you go flat there, then you'd have to put limits down here, because you're expecting people to say, "Oh, that's the trend. That's a real breakout." So this double bottom just became a top. Let's sell, and that might work. But if it doesn't, then it's going to engulf, and it's going to come up here and terrorize all these bears. Are going to get stopped out. So we have a little pressure building up here on the tops of the wicks on the 5 minute. Go this pop to here. We scalp out. We make the easy first few pips. I'm up $11. So we filled all these guys. These guys did not fill. It'd be great if they did. And if I can make $40 here by the time the stock market, there's no really big news coming out. They had some bank test, some stress test thing. This stuff cracks me up. What the fuck is a stress test? None of the government modeling. So I noticed the news is nothing but Corona this and Corona that. I'm like, dude, you got to get over it. Nobody's dying anymore from it. Those people died. You're infected? You're worried about it? You got to see these people when you go out with a mask. Dude, you're no icon of health in the first place. Okay, I get that's why you're wearing a mask. What are you doing out? What I'm wondering is, why didn't you just stay home and get fucking your stuff delivered? Can't you find a friend? Don't you know anybody? Like hook you up? Phone a friend. Oh, here we go. Tanking on the pound. One more plunge down to buy more stuff there. So the waiting game continues. And I guess you could say things like, well, the breakout guys are going to start wondering about their trade and buying it back. They're like, this trade's not going anywhere. Yeah, it's a combination of all that. People that are saying, you know what, this trade, this breakout's not really working. It's not like going, there's no follow through. And so they're buying it back, which is causing it to go up and down. There's contributing all forces. There's a guy that really legitimately needs toilet paper, and there's a guy that's just buying it up to mark it up later and sell it back to you, you know. So a little pressure there, but that wick still remains. That spike is kind of laid in there forever now. But this makes sense. It's 6 in the morning, making new lows. What's the chance of that? The 1 hour chart, 4 hours. So in the 4 hour, like, people that are selling this breakout on the 4 hour, I'm like, oof, I don't know about that breakout. Maybe you should have sold like the breakout of the 4 hour bar. When you got a small 4 hour bar, so the trade plan for breakouts would be sell stop stacking up, buy stop stacking up, little trap. You got, you know, buy stops and sell stops. Low volatility breakout. Yeah, you're right for a little bit, but these tickets made more money. All right, so the collapse, the explosion. This is 8 hours down. You know, here you're buying with a wide stop, a little bit wider, and I don't think we make it up here today. But I say if we make it to here or here, I'm good. And then if that's all we get today is back to this, back to the fair value, the kind of general middle of the road prices that I'd cash out there, but buying based on these 4 hour supply demand pockets, what do you call them? That's a ripe for the pickings. And by the time stocks open, we could be back to this or this, and then that go flat, and then maybe come back with the limits again. So depending on the pendulum swing and how crazy. On the 4 hour chart, you know, you've only got 9 o'clock, there'll be an update, 1 and 5. So there's only 2 more bars also left on this chart. So how many bars can we keep tanking? Can we go down for the next 10 hours and keep tanking on the pound? That may be a feat. They may not be doable. Okay, we're coming back up. People are scalping out. So most people have made their 10 pips already here. On the wick trade. But we could go up to here by stocks open. That'll be good. We'll have made money without waiting all week for some setup on the daily. I just don't know how people do it. All right, so that's day trading in the morning, and the rest of the day, you know, I get 4 hours to get paid on this. It took me like an hour to accumulate the plunge on the pound. The 5 minute. So here, people are going to cash out into this floor, I guarantee. Doesn't mean we cannot tank. Once we get to here, we can tank. We scalp to that first. There'll be some kind of stalling out here, I suppose, and then it's either going to go to here or back down. So here would be my final exit, and then maybe there'll be pullbacks here, so we can still, even after 5 minutes of straight up, we can start running buy limits. If we can make it to here, come in with the buy limits down here. Okay, that's that. All right, so I have to go fluff my pillow now. Take a nap. Wait to listen to the corona deaths. There's not this infection thing because they're testing more people and you're getting more infections supposedly.
These kids were out at the bar all night.
Are they dropping dead? Who has ever tracked anything like this in your life? Dude, there's been so many flu situations where people have gotten very sick and they have died. There's a thing called pneumonia. Pneumonia is more death to young people. It's this constant parade. It is so funny, but it just reminds me of the news. It's like this.
Well, the market's sold off on Corona.
Do you really mean to tell me that there's somebody with a bunch of all these people with a bunch of money smoking cigars in the room going, you know what?
If I hear another Corona news, I'm hitting the sell button. That's it. I can't take it anymore.
You're kidding, right? So, Corona's driving the fucking market, please.
Well, they said it's going to be a really slow recovery and there's going to be...
They said? Dude, if you think there's computers trading this shit, the computers are not.
Well, they got these computers now to read the headlines.
Are you fucking kidding? People are selling that shit now.
We got this new... I heard it on the radio. We got this new computer that can read headlines. It can turn a Trump tweet into like 1,000 pips.
Think about how that trade would have played out. Really think about, well, yeah, because he tweeted, how long did the...
Well, it turns out the crowd didn't respond like the computer responded.
Really? The computer that wore tennis shoes is trading your account, huh? All right, so I'm going to go back to sleep.